Here we go. So, the semi-final of the Princess Elizabeth Junior Men's 8s event, St Paul's School on the left and Shiplake College on the right of our picture. This is a real sort of grudge match here, isn't it? Shiplake will really want to roll over St Paul's here.
Yeah, this is the race I was the most looking forward to today. It's the one that I think is going to be the most competitive. And as you said, Matt, I'm really looking forward to seeing how Shiplake respond, having felt like they were slightly hard done by at Nat Schools.
Well, it's stroke for stroke, man for man, but we're only 10 or 15 strokes into the race. The boats are now at full speed. Shiplake's path to this semi-final is littered with the bodies of American crews, Green Lake and Deerfield Academy and Marin. They've taken out to get here. And, well, St Paul's have had to roll through Bedford School, Windsor Boys School and Brisbane College to get here. So, neck and neck, stroke for stroke, man for man. This is junior men's rowing at its absolute best.
It really is, and as you see here, it's a really level start coming off of the island. Both crews are now going to start their transition onto their race pace. They want to be long, they want to be loose, and then they want to not give an inch to the other crew. And Bobby and Hugh, the coach of the Shiplake crew, would have prepped their crews to be mentally as tough as possible, because it's a physical game. There's a lot of exertion through your legs, but it's also, when you're rowing against one other crew, it's a mental game.
So this phase is super intense. As an athlete, it's really hard to do anything other than just focus on the process. You know, your stroke rate is up really high. You're in that sort of anaerobic bit where it's burning, and you now have to think about when can I transition to something that I can sustain while keeping the boat speed as high as possible. And this is about the point of the race where they're going to be doing that. So see the Cox there in the Shiplake boat, Charlie Keener just looking across at St Paul's, and we're riding with the St Paul's crews now. They've had a distinctive style, sort of loose shoulders, very efficient rowing here. We're seeing that here. Yeah,
you can see that here, and they look incredibly nice and fluid around the front. They're not looking like they're jolty, not keeping their arms nice and long. They look very tight and very together here, this crew.
So some young people in that St Paul's crew, 16 and 17-year-olds, most of them. So Shiplake on the left of our picture, bathed in sunshine, illuminating those gold hoops on their oars and on their singlets. There's the Shiplake crew. This is the race they've really been waiting for, almost like the final for them. They've got to get through. They're really determined to put their name on that cup. They haven't been there for some years, and, well, they're looking good too.
Yeah, they are looking good, and they've had some really tight races, one length to Deerfield Academy and one length to Marin, so that would have given them nice experience when they are in a tight situation like this and how they're going to respond. But as you can see, coming up to 40, it looks really level.
This is the joy of men's 8s racing, isn't it, here at Henley? So much power, and the junior men showing just that, absolutely still neck and neck. So they now need to both be in the mid-race pace, and what you've got to do here, I guess, is you've got to try to see if you can steal a centimetre a stroke, just a centimetre a stroke. Trust the process, but just see if you can push each stroke a tiny fraction to get ahead. As they sweep past us, it looks like St Paul's have maybe got a seat or two. What a great shot of these two crews going through the middle of the course here at the Foley marker. There's Shiplake and St Paul's on the left of our picture. St Paul's have got a couple of seats maybe on Shiplake, so now's the moment. St Paul's have got to be relaxed and long, and Shiplake have to punch.
And they have to be mentally tough. They have to really believe. We are in for a real treat in this last half of this race. So you can see both crews are relatively level. St Paul's maybe have a canvas lead at the moment, and both crews are looking really good in these conditions at the moment. And it's both crews are looking really long, rowing really well, and I'm really excited to see what's going to happen in this last 700-800 meters.
So Cox, Raoul Marchand in the St Paul's crew there, just looking over his shoulder at his competitor, Charlie Keener in the Cox's seat of Shiplake, and he's calling his crews on. But here we go, Shiplake are responding, and they're responding really hard. Come on, Shiplake, can you take it back to St Paul's? St Paul's, can you keep composed?
Shiplake does look like they've just taken a seat back. St Paul's are going to have to respond. The Cox, Charlie is driving the Shiplake crew on, and Rahul, having rowed before, he would have been an experienced person in this. He's been in this situation before, and now he's moved over to Coxon. He will know what the rows will be feeling like, so he'll be able to translate that down to the crew, try to keep them calm, but also be incredibly aggressive to make sure they push off the Shiplake boat.
This is a big move from the young men of Shiplake. They've come back on terms and they're trying to push through the middle. Absolute full-on energy from every one of these athletes. All 16 pins pushing down hard. And now St Paul's are responding. St Paul's have to respond now. They can't afford to stay in the rhythm they were at. They've got to push it up and see if they can respond to Shiplake, who have been incredibly composed through this. Now it's St Paul's turn. The questions are being asked in that boat. Can they make it?
St Paul's are looking really clean around the blade work on the front end, especially. Shiplake looks a little bit chopped at the front, so when we say chopped, it looks like the blade is going in from a little bit of a height. As you can see, though, it's really level coming through this slightly quieter bit as they come into the enclosures.
So in the St Paul's boat, you've got ahead, and then you've seen Shiplake come back at you, but then they're sticking. Now Shiplake have to go again, and St Paul's are going to have to respond. They are still seat for seat, man for man. It's impossible to call at this point, and they've got about 300 meters remaining. The noise from the stewards' enclosure is increasing as people walk and rush to the bank to see what's going to happen in this race. It's one of the most popular races here, the junior men's and women's events here. Lots of school parents and fans of rowing, and St Paul's and Shiplake, there's nothing between them.
What a race to be 16, 17 and 8-year-olds be a part of. This is true schoolboy rowing at its best. As you can see here, Shiplake crew is still driving towards the line. St Paul's have probably done their first lift up as they come into the enclosures, and they're pushing past, and you can hear the noise from the crowds being driven on.
Well, right now, I've been in this position myself. You can't actually hear your cocks. There's huge noise from the crowd. Your ears are bursting with the blood pressure in your head. But St Paul's have responded. I think St Paul's have lengthened out. They are really hammering it down to the line here. So it's St Paul's from Shiplake. They've taken about 5 or 6 seats in the last 200 meters. Shiplake have got very little track lengths to respond, but they are going to. Here comes Shiplake, here comes St Paul's. The line is coming very fast, probably too fast for the young men of Shiplake. St Paul's, the holders of the Princess Elizabeth Challenge Cup, pull out to a lead of a length nearly over Shiplake. Devastation from Shiplake, and St Paul's punch the air. They are ready to see if they can get their name on the cup again for a second successive year. What a race, Mo.